This is Japan. The changing of the seasons makes for beautiful scenery and at the same time bestows all the bounties of the sea and mountains. People revere nature, which has given birth to a unique food culture. Japanese cuisine is known as washoku and was listed as an intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO in 2013. A characteristic of washoku is the use of stock brewed from fish and kombu kelp to draw out the natural tastes of fresh seasonal ingredients. Another major characteristic is the minimal use of animal fat, achieving a healthy nutritional balance. Washoku is defined by all the attention paid to detail and the spirit of hospitality of every individual involved in its preparation. In this program, we'll be focusing on the very essence of washoku. Recently, there has been a surge in the number of people coming to Japan. The number of visitors from overseas reached 10 million for the first time in 2013, having almost doubled in the last 10 years. One of the main reasons why people come is to enjoy Japanese cuisine, and not necessarily the expensive type, but the kind that Japanese people eat every day.
A beautiful tempura with just fresh vegetables that the chef presents to you, and then he does at your pace while you're eating. He's giving you the tempura fish and the vegetables. Really, really good.
Already tried a lot. Okonomiyaki and takoyaki was very good. Yakisoba I like.
Udon, I like udon.
Soba.
I know the best food I've really enjoyed is the Japanese style of curry meal. It's got curry flavored, not so spicy, not so oily. I think that's the best food that I've enjoyed in Japan.
There are all kinds of Japanese food that can be readily enjoyed at any time. There are also traditional dishes for occasions such as weddings or to celebrate the new year.
What kind of traditional food?
Kaiseki and stuff.
I don't really know the name.
You know the name, right? Maybe, but
we try to understand, but it's difficult for us.
Have you heard of kaiseki?
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. What is it?
It's really a traditional Japanese full course. Japanese full course.
Kaiseki.
Yeah.
I might try it.
Many visitors aren't exactly sure what traditional Japanese cuisine is. So, let's explore the essence of traditional washoku in modern-day Japan.
This is washoku. This is washoku.
Kyoto is a city alive with history and tradition and has been a favorite with visitors from overseas for over a century. The history of Kikunoi Restaurant dates back over 100 years. This long-standing institution has been awarded a total of 7 Michelin stars, including its affiliated restaurants. Their specialty is kaiseki cuisine. It originates from the Japanese tea ceremony. Dishes are primarily composed of fish and vegetables and rarely include meat. The delicate, artistic dishes reflect the 4 seasons, a treasured aesthetic in Japan. The food isn't the only thing that one can enjoy here. There is a beautifully tended garden. Seasonal flowers adorn every room. And decorations include works of art from all over the world, all of which come together in complementary harmony with the meal. At the core of all Japanese cuisine is the soup stock, or dashi. Dashi is made mainly from bonito katsuobushi and kombu kelp. Japanese cuisine is characterized by the natural tastes of its ingredients, which are enhanced by this stock. This is Mr. Yoshihiro Murata, the third-generation owner of Kikunoi. His hard work contributed to washoku becoming listed as an intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO. Mr. Murata is not bound by tradition. In fact, his new ideas have revolutionized washoku. A perfect example of this is his kitchen. The large windows encourage customers to watch the chef's finely honed skills. The kitchen is full of innovations. Much of the basic equipment, such as the kitchen counters and air conditioners, were custom made.
もうね、働きやすい環境を作らないと能力出せないでしょ。シェフのやっぱり一つの、誇りやから、その厨房が、汚い料理屋だっていうのはろくなもんと違うな。それからこれエンジンやから。
He did away with the traditional attire of wooden clogs and a necktie and designed his own uniforms to allow greater ease of movement.
昔からこうやっていうのは変えていかんとな。
He says that the chef and not tradition is the cornerstone of the kitchen. This revolutionary still remains passionate about his craft. His choice of ingredients is unrestrained. He actively incorporates gourmet Western ingredients, as well as hand-picked seasonal ingredients carefully grown from all over Japan. For example, the kamo eggplant has been cultivated in Kyoto since ancient times. These are bought directly from a local farm in Kyoto.
Vegetables grown with care take on the characteristics of their growers. It's uncanny. This looks difficult to deal with, but it has a subtle texture and excellent taste. It's beautiful.
The season for kamo eggplants is June. The history and tradition of these plants cannot survive unless their seeds are carefully harvested. These seeds are cultivated and have been passed down through many generations.
Vegetables grown in Kyoto are very popular now, but no one used to take note. I worked with Kikunoi to revive the use of traditional vegetables which had been forgotten, and our work helped us to arrive at where we are today. It was only natural for a Kyoto restaurant to use Kyoto vegetables. And I think what's most important is for chefs at those restaurants to pay more attention to the vegetables they use.
In the kitchen, the young chefs were in the middle of a meal. They improvised their own menu and made it themselves. These young trainees normally only prepare the vegetables, so it's a good opportunity to refine their skills. The food looks ordinary, but the ingredients are top class.
This is atsuage with starch sauce. I made it myself. The taste is all right because I had supervision, but it took me a bit too long to make it. I'll try to be faster next time.
What I've learned from Mr. Murata is that there are no absolute answers, so you have to question everything to find your own truth. That way, you think constantly about the true nature of things and what among them is the most important. Being around others all the time allows you to share the same values. They are the values I'd always cherished myself. So I want to pass them on to the next generation, too. I feel that my job is to understand what Mr. Murata wants to convey when he makes food, and clarify it in explaining it to the others in the kitchen.
Kikunoi has been shaped by Mr. Murata's ideas. There was a reason for its continued popularity as one of Japan's best gourmet restaurants.
普通の人が普通に働いて何かの記念日とか何かの楽しみ節目節目に、来ていただけるような、店作りをしたいと。大人のアミューズメントパークであるということも言うてるんですけども、なんか大人がワクワクできるような、施設でありたいというふうには思ってますね。まあお客さんにたくさん来ていただくのはありがたいです。ありがたいですけど、ほんまにちゃんとそれで行き届いてるかどうかっていうのは毎日非常に、不安に思いますね。ずっと不安やから働けるんでしょうね。
This is Washoku.
Around the time the third-generation chef of Kikunoi graduated university in the early 1970s, he grew disillusioned with traditional Japanese cuisine and decided to travel around Europe.
卒業してまた親の言う通りにどっか修行行ってで帰ってきてね若旦那やってみたいなのはちょっと嫌やなと思って、だけどもまあ他に料理以外にあんまり好きなことなかったしね、それからまあ料理人になろうかとそうやけども、フランス料理をやりたいなというふうに思ってフランスへ行ったんですけどね。日本料理なんて毎日食うてるわけやからなんかそっちの方がこれからの時代にはええかなみたいに思ってたんでしょうね。
But while he was there, he came to understand a hard truth about washoku.
世界の三大料理やと日本料理はねで思ってるわけですけども、向こうへ行けばもう極東のエスニカン以外の何者でもなくて僕らはね日本料理の誰も知らんベトナム料理とかタイ料理の方がまだみんな知ってましたよね。
Japanese cuisine is not inferior. One day I'm going to prove it to the people of France. Mr. Murata's heart had found its way back to washoku by the time he returned to Japan. In fact, he devoted himself more than ever to promoting greater understanding of Japanese cuisine. In February 2014, a dinner party was held in Paris for overseas VIPs by France's Minister of Foreign Affairs to celebrate the listing of washoku as an intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO. 18 chefs, with a total of 22 Michelin stars, including Mr. Murata, served Japanese cuisine to VIPs of political and business circles in France. winning rave reviews.
フランスの外務省の迎賓館のお城の中で、ファビウス外務大臣主催の晩餐会を、日本料理でやるっていうようなことはもう、フランス料理と日本料理が同意で見られた瞬間であると。
Japanese cuisine had won recognition in France. This prompted many aspiring chefs to come to Japan to study the Japanese culinary arts. This is Julien Berard, the 20-year-old son of a French chef. It has been 4 months since he came to Kikunoi, the year after UNESCO listed washoku as an intangible cultural heritage. Many foreigners have come to work for Mr. Murata over the years.
ロンドンのヘイソンブルメンタールファットダックという店ですけど、パリのアストランスのパスカル・バボーとか世界の一級って言われるようなシェフ連中はみんな一回はうちに来てるんですよ。
Julien began studying French cooking after graduating junior high school and trained at his father's restaurant, among others. He is currently in charge of preparing vegetables and other ingredients.
There are many differences between Japanese and French cuisine, such as the way fish is presented. There's a lot to learn from the way fish is prepared in Japan. French cooking is adapted to cooking meat, so I figured Japan would be the ideal place to learn about making dishes with fish. I also want to gain experience by working at a Michelin 3-star restaurant in France. Someday, I hope that I can take over my father's restaurant, and I want to add what I've learned here in Japan to build on it further.
A daily ritual after work and returning to his room is to call his father in France.
Oh, je suis toujours au même poste, au poste à Sud. Là, c'est le poste où on fait le poste un peu sushi, quoi.
Ah, c'est important ça d'apprendre les sushis. Ouais. Parce qu'en France, ça sera bien quand tu vas rentrer. Ouais. Tu pourras faire à plein de monde.
This is Washoku.
This is Washoku.
This is Kyoto University, one of the most outstanding universities in Japan that has produced numerous Nobel laureates. In collaboration with the university, Mr. Murata established a research institute here in 2010. Chefs work alongside academics to study the possibilities of Japanese cuisine. The term umami is now known throughout the world, and there's no better example of umami than dashi soup stock, the heart of all washoku.
世界で1カ国だけうまみ成分を中心に料理を構成した国があると。それが、日本料理なんですよ。それから、どんな形であろうがどうであろうが、見た目とか洋皿に盛ってあるかどうかとは別にしてうまみを中心に料理を構成すれば非常に日本料理に近いものであるということは言えるでしょうね。
It was found that the taste of umami could be used as a substitute for the animal fat traditionally the base of most Western cuisine in deciding the taste of food. Mr. Murata felt that this connection could create new possibilities for Japanese cuisine to spread to a wider audience. He reached out to Kyoto University's Professor Fushiki, the leading expert in the field.
油というのは
Fat is an important element in the taste of food, but it can also cause health problems if you eat too much of it. It's addictive, like a drug, which I was able to prove for the first time. That's why I became interested in dashi soup stock, which is also delicious as a substitute for fat. In trials with animals, it was found that soups made with fat or dashi stimulate the brain via the same mechanism, thus scientifically proving that dashi could be used to replace fat.
Professor Fushiki regularly gathers students and well-known chefs of Japanese cuisine and has the students taste the dashi stocks of the top-class chefs.
This experiment is extremely popular, and once the students try the stocks used at these restaurants, they become hooked. I think this can be the key to healthy eating in the future.
だしっていうのは、ほとんど水ですから、あとはグルタミン酸とイノシン酸が、抽出されてるだけですから、料理は科学でできてますから、科学的に立証されたら誰がやっても同じような結果になるはずなんです。
Kombu kelp, often used to make dashi stock, contains glutamic acid, while bonito contains inosinic acid, and shiitake mushrooms contain guanilic acid. This means washoku stock can be made from other ingredients as long as they contain the same substances.
これとこれをこうやって混ぜますでしょ。これはそれからヨーロッパの各地には全部あるもんですから、世界中どこでも出汁を引くということができるわけですね。
Umami is recreated through science, all thanks to Mr. Murata's efforts.
Oishi desu.
今世界のシェフやらはうまみをコントロールすることが、料理を作ることになるであろうと言ってるわね。うまみをコントロールすることはもう日本は大昔からやってるんで。
This is 和食。
Tonight, Kyoto's top-class chefs gather at Kikunoi. Once a month, they hold a workshop. It gives them an opportunity to compare their skills. All the chefs bring original dishes made to a set theme. They share information on the seasoning and preparation methods in search of the future of Japanese cuisine. The details of these workshops are published in a culinary magazine.
伝統を守るということは革新を続けることなんですよ。それから、点で見ると革新なんですけど、それはつながってラインになって後ろ振り向いた時にそれが伝統になってるんですよ。それから、テンプルストーンの中心にいてたいと思うと常にこう、その世の中の行く方向を見定めて、新しいことをどんどんやっていくことですよね。血を這うような、活動こそが、次の時代を作るんですよねと思ってます。
Washoku. It is a culture that Japanese people cannot live without. And it's not only about food. It's about revering nature through appreciation of the changing seasons and the spirit of cherishing its natural bounties. Protecting tradition inherited from ancient times while having the adaptability and foresight to evolve to meet the future. Washoku is a reflection of the spirit of the Japanese people. We invite you to try washoku, letting your mind picture the natural beauty of Japan's seasons that inspire it. You will find that washoku has the power to satisfy all of your senses. This program was made possible by the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries.